Hey, Boaz here from Next Pittsburgh. We are here in Squirrel Hill, an undisclosed location for sort of a special Yinzer Backstage Pass. We're getting a special tour of Mark Meader's garden here, which is generally not open to the public, but he's decided we can come inside today and get a tour. Thanks for having us, Mark.
Sure, I'd love to be here.
First of all, when did you move in here? Like, how did this garden start?
In 1988, I moved in 34 years ago. It wasn't much to the garden, it was just grass, and the hillsides were pretty much just weed trees and briars and stuff like that. And so I just started in the first fall, taking out everything that I knew I would not want. And then after that, it was being a nursery addict, going and stopping at every nursery I could and buying plants and planting. So it's just evolved from there.
I guess right now we're standing on the edge of one of many water features, as if I recall right.
Yes, there's 5 water features.
Oh my God. Water features are like my favorite, so I'm flipping out right now. There's tons of koi in here.
Yeah, this one has butterfly koi in it. I love the ponds.
Gosh, they are like moving around so much. It's really fun to watch. It's like they're putting on a little ballet for us.
Yeah, they hibernate in the winter. Once its water temperature goes below 55, you stop feeding them.
Well, let's go in a little deeper here. So it's sort of an unusual shape in that it seems like it goes on forever, but it's not. It's sort of narrow.
At the front, it's 125 feet wide, and in the back, it's 90 feet wide. So it's sort of a pie-shaped, but it's 300 feet long total.
Gosh, that's a long yard. That's a lot of yard to plant.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Well, should we pop down into one of these paths right now?
Sure. Just stay in the center of the steps. Everything's homemade and done by me, so
Okay.
It's not professional. So you have to be careful.
Well, I love that every stone we're stepping on was, I guess, presumably laid by you here.
Yeah, all the bricks for the paths also, and the ponds I dug myself, and put in the electricity. I did everything.
Did you know how to do this before you started doing it?
I sort of did. My father was a do-it-yourselfer,
Okay.
and I picked up a lot of it from him.
All these hydrangea?
Yeah, this is limelight hydrangea, and they can get really tall, and they're really good because they're pretty drought tolerant, and they don't need as much water as a lot of them do.
Well, now we're coming back sort of into the grand lawn, I guess, if you will.
Yeah, I threatened to take it all out and put it in one big pond.
Yo, really?
But
I'd be into that.
I don't think I'll ever do it now. Right now, I call it hydrangea season because hydrangeas are blooming.
Yeah.
But in the middle of the summer, like in July, it's a lot of color. There's a lot of daylilies. I love the textures of the plants and the colors of the green. I love it. In springtime, especially, it's really pretty. This hibiscus here, perennial hibiscus, is a wonderful color. I just planted that this past week. But there are several in the garden that I've planted before, but the deer do not touch those. So.
And the bloom is like as big as my head.
Yeah, it's huge, and the color is so vibrant, so strong. This pine tree, weeping pine, I put here probably about 32 years ago.
And did you train it to go over the path here?
No, well, so weeping pine, so it was just headed that way, and so I did cut it out to keep it so that you could walk underneath it. Yeah.
What a gratifying thing to have planted these small trees decades ago and then see them so big. It's so cool.
Yeah, I can't believe I brought everything in. I used to have a van, and everything in the garden came in the van. Sometimes it was pushed way up to the driver's seat almost, but everything came in from the van. This was the last pond I built. I had planned on it to be from there to way over here, but when I started digging, it was nothing but solid clay. Every shovelful must have weighed 30 pounds. I said, okay, I think this will be big enough.
Sometimes the ground dictates the size of the pond, I guess.
Yeah.
And it looks like we're coming on to the deer-proof section of the garden.
Yes, this is the vegetable garden back here, and I did have to extend the fence up. I had like a 5-foot fence for a while, and they would just jump right over, just walk over it practically. The deer around here are humongous. Back here we have basil and sweet banana peppers. I like roasting them. They're really tasty. Around here, we'll go to one of my special parts of the garden. When I was a kid, I had a friend that had a huge bamboo area in their yard, and we had made paths through it, and we used to play in it. And I wanted to do it here, and it's somewhat successful. Not as big as theirs, but it's nice. So it's right around the corner here.
Oh my goodness, this is so cool. Wow. It's like a little bamboo maze.
It's a nice place to sit. And when the wind's blowing, it sounds so nice coming through the canes are all going back and forth, and it's a nice sound to it.
And how long did it take for these to grow?
I planted 2 pots of bamboo, and they were like 5-gallon buckets, probably 25 years old. This pond was the second one I did, and it's the largest. It's about 20 feet long or so. It's sort of kidney shaped, but it was the easiest one to dig. It took like a day and a half to dig.
This is beautiful. It feels almost like a little canal or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Gosh, it's just as crazy. It just keeps going, and there are all these little magical paths that keep splitting off of it.
Yeah. You know, it wasn't so much I had planned to make a path. I made the paths to put plants around.
So how long did it take from when you moved in until you felt like the garden was done, or maybe it's never done?
It really never is done. There's always changing. In fact, I went to a nursery this week. They had so much wonderful plant material. I kept saying, oh, God, I'm going home to rethink some areas.
So is that what you spend like winter doing? Are you sort of making little doodles or sketches?
No, I never do. I go and buy a plant that I like, and then I find a place for it in the garden, which is sort of backwards of what a lot of people. My brother's an architect, one of them, and his garden is all planned out and everything's spaced and everything, but mine is like buy a plant and put it somewhere. If it doesn't work in that place, find another place. I have a few formal touches to the garden. This is a boxwood on a standard. I try to keep it very formal looking.
Yeah,
but
sort of like a little marshmallow or like a mushroom or an umbrella.
yeah, but most of the garden is pretty free-flowing and sort of the English style of garden.
Have you ever measured all the paths? Do you know how many, do you have like a quarter mile of paths that go around
No,
here?
I've never measured them. One day I should count the bricks, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did bring all the bricks in myself, and so I would find houses that were being torn down in the neighborhood, and I would ask if I could have bricks, and say, oh yeah, take as many as you want. So I would come back with a van with the back end dragging it practically, filled with bricks.
This one might be like the most magical water feature of all.
It's one of my favorites. My actual favorite is around the corner.
We haven't even seen it yet. Oh my
God.
God.
Seen it yet. Yeah. But this pond was the first one I built. And my brother came up to help me. We did a little shallow form pond. It was only like 12 inches deep or so. And it really wasn't deep enough for the fish. And then the favorite water garden, can you feel like walking and taking a hike?
Yeah.
Okay. Be careful now.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize we're really off-roading. Okay, we're going over the pond. Whoa. Oh, my gosh. Whoa. Gosh, it's like we entered a magical little fairy grotto.
Yeah, this one's great. And these ferns, I have no idea where these ferns came from. I did not plant them. They just came up. But they're a wonderful fern. This was a very steep hillside, and when we built the sunroom here, I wanted a waterfall that I could see from inside the sunroom. And this is why this is my favorite, because I can sit here and look out at the waterfall. And it's wonderful when it gets covered in ice. In the winter, it's a magical wonderland. It's beautiful. It's really pretty, especially if there's a big snow.
And what do you think about the future of the garden? Do you think about what this will be 100 years from now?
Sometimes I do.
Yeah.
And I think, wouldn't it be nice if somebody came and bought the house and because of the property and they continued it? But that's just sort of a wish, you know. Most likely somebody will come in and they'll take a bulldozer and
I hope not.
you never know. And in 100 years, who knows what'll be living. It's a nice thought to think that I put something here that other people will enjoy.
Well, I've certainly enjoyed it. This is really, I mean, remarkable, and just never would have guessed that this is here, and just like this little property you somehow crammed in something that seems like it's massive. Gosh, well, Mark, thank you so much for the tour. This was incredible.
You're welcome. I'm very happy for you to come.